Hey, Ansel here, KVTV. We're down at Wallerfield, day one of the SuperStreet Intermediate Series. Today is a practice day for race day tomorrow. So they have driving school and so on for some of the new drivers coming on for this event tomorrow. Kerry,
Good.
we're here down Wallerfield
Yeah, best place.
with the KVTV car. What do you think of this KVTV car?
I hear what's going on. The girl is. One, I like Boxlands, huh? You know, it's one of the cars that you grew up with.
Yeah.
Boxlands, the K70, the K30, right? And this car, I won't lie, I like the livery. The KVTV and the other RPM. The RPM running a little short though. You need a little more.
What?
I don't know.
It should be above 7.
Nah, like about 8, 8.5. I don't know.
Only?
I
I shift at 12, so.
Wait.
We don't want to blow the thing up, you know. It costs money.
Yeah, I like the color scheme, the livery nice, and all the people, the heads, the heads on display.
On
You
the
know what I
screen,
mean? On the screen. Yeah, so it's a good car by looks a little bit too high. It's too high.
Would you drive it?
I mean, like,
Drift it?
3 fingers could go in here. You need last time these 3 fingers went somewhere. Anyhow, yeah. I would have said no more.
Thing get moist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good night. I can't remember after. Anyhow.
What needs fixing on the car?
Alright, basically from what I
You saw the car
So-
with the stuck out there.
the steering needs to be a little more more, I mean, firm, more without the
Much
play,
play.
without the 40 degrees of play. Yeah, how on the steering, you know, and the car needs to be a bit lower, probably change suspension and stuff.
Seat bracket.
Yeah, that too. I mean, you have wood. I mean, that size wood. You have wood. The wood in the wrong place.
Yeah. Wrong use.
Yeah, other than that,
It's got potential.
yeah, it have lots of potential.
Yeah,
for
it
the car.
have potential for what it is. I mean, I drove the car down this morning.
Yeah, how you feel?
I drive
Besides not feeling safe, but how you feel?
through Piaco. When you take the left to come back out to Moscow there, power the car through a little S bend,
Yeah.
draw a third, the car want to dive left.
Dive left.
Yeah, the suspension, like if you're in the first car in TNT
Okay.
Express going to Tobago,
What?
the brakes almost to the floor.
Almost to the floor.
Almost to the floor. It's stopping, eh?
Yeah.
By the time you take it to stop,
But I think that
you will reach in the barrier.
probably some kind of high-tech adjustment needed.
Yeah, they call it new brake pads.
Right? So that's something we have to get. New brake pads, lower the car, get rid of the wood,
The wood.
and the
You
steering.
gotta get rid of the wood. That's how to move the wood.
Out of the car.
Oh, yeah. Wood. That wood is for someone else. Not where it is right now. Yeah, that wood. No.
And the seat need to change.
Yes,
to a
man.
bucket seat.
Eric, you
Fixed
really
back bucket seat or a reclinable bucket seat. But for racing, you don't want to have your backrest reclining. You should have a fixed back.
fixed seat,
Okay.
and seat belt.
It is the first time we've actually taken it out to an event where we actually enter it for racing.
Well, good. So
Yeah,
that's
it's the first time. Yeah, so it's really a test. We have taken it to a couple other events before, but that was more for display, you know, not to be involved in racing. You saw me out there on the track earlier. You saw me with an instructor. The instructor's name was Ken. How did you think we done out there?
Well, for the first time you actually driving in any kind of race scenario, I mean, I was surprised though. You know, I mean, the instructor drove the car first, and like you were saying, you know, he was swearing all over the place and laughing at the same time.
He looked like he was enjoying himself to me.
Probably the reason why as soon as he came out of the car, he left, and we can't find him.
One thing we hope to do in the future is we hope to get Kerry on a show showing you guys actually how to drift. You know, we're gonna do this in we're gonna have cameras all over the car, we're gonna have audio in the car, cameras outside the car as well, so like we'll get a proper demonstration of the process of drifting.
Well, that will be, well, you know, he telling me here, so that'll be nice to do. Also, I like to take respect to other people of who does drift. So you have like Devon, Roger, Reagan, Hira, Mazda, right? Sharon, Sharon, yeah, Sharon brothers, Dirk. I have a lot. Menace, yeah, call Menace. Yeah. Oh yeah, that little one who was going out. Not the little one. He just short. I just say the little one as
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob.
Brandon
Miller. Brandon Steele.
Brandon Steele.
Yeah, Steele. Because he
AKA
hard.
AKA SpongeBob.
AKA hurt them tires.
Last but not least, viewers, all these racing should be take place in a controlled, safe environment and not on the people road.
Well, people
risking innocent.
Because we have to pay taxes.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
we know what I mean. In the public, not on the public.
Yeah.
Controlled, safe environment.
That is true.
We have emergency response team and everything in place in case of an incident. Proper safety attire and everything.
Talking about safety, quickly. Now that they've enforcing the speed limit at 80, what do you guys think?
You know what I mean?
Well, it always had a speed limit, and I keep telling people that. It
But now
always had a
they're
speed limit.
enforcing it though.
It is enforcing for
Yeah.
the lawless people and them out there.
Right.
Yeah.
But
You think it's a better thing?
Yeah.
I would say, that's what I would say, the 80K, because they need to correct that, because in 1 minute they're saying 80K and on the news they're saying 80 miles per hour.
No, it's okay.
You know what? I actually see a print that say 80 miles per hour, which is madness already. That's 130 something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyhow, my thing is with the speed limit, have the speed limit progressive in certain zones on the highway. I mean, if we don't south 80K, come on, that is that's crazy. I mean, for those who don't know, South Road is a pretty long road, and going at that speed, you tend to daydream.
By the way, South is anything past Gambas, South people. For those who live in the East now.
So, like certain zones, I feel it should at least, you know, you put a 100K mark, I want a progressive thing like that. And then you bring it back down when you reach nearer to built up areas or whatever.
But one thing I must say, I've honestly found since I brought in this like enforcement of it, it has been like the drivers have been more respectful. In general, they're going slower.
Yes, yes, everybody.
You don't
really-
see so much madness on the road.
True.
Yeah, you think?
I really would like to see a next what's it when they do like a tallying on road accidents.
Yeah,
Like for the next year or so.
Right.
Yeah, because it really would say it really take down
Yeah.
a lot of
Madness. I've
Madness.
seen less madness.
understand? But at the same time, they should be proactive with the speed limit. Certain zones should allow it to go a little faster. Yeah, so not that because you're a
Will they
maniac or
contemplate
anything.
that,
I don't know, not sure.
I hope
I'm not in parliament. I'm on parliament.
Yeah, but the speed limit is 80K right now, right?
Yeah.
For the Prime Minister vehicle with the entourage passing your whoosh.
He could do that if I the president or the prime minister, I
Right.
blade it. 200K. Not K, MPH. I blade, I the president. You know, so work so hard and they touch it could be.
Well, that's debatable on how hard you actually work, sir.
Joke is, you keeping up with him with those, you trying.
Narend, what inspired you all with this SuperStreet series here as opposed to how they used to do deck sending and ARC and what made you all do this? How the idea came to pass and so?
Well, a couple of things brought the idea on. It really began with the meetings with TTASA to try to keep the track busy. You know, they were asking for ideas about how we could keep the track busy. So we knew we needed some sort of event at Wallerfield. So that got us thinking, okay, how many times we want to be on the track? This is the venue, especially that it was paved, gave us a great opportunity for something like this to be done.
Less bumps.
That's right.
No gravel.
Since 2004 and 5, that time around then, before the track was closed, we always wanted to do a time attack series. Something where, just like on Top Gear with the Sting, there's our Boodoosingh walking down the road there, Kristian Boodoosingh, aka Boodoosingh. Right? Just like with this thing on Top Gear's track, how they go and they set their times, we wanted people to come with their own cars and be able to set their times. So you would not just race against a competitor, but you'd race against your own personal best times, and as you build your project car, you could see the progress that you make. And you could see if the changes really made a meaningful difference on the track. Because in a straight line, it's one thing, but as we discovered today, when you were running a car, it's another. So that was the second reason. The third reason is that we realized that there was a gap. There was a big gap between Solodex and Dragon Wine, and then full-fledged circuit racing or like rally, the top-level sports that we have in Trinidad. So that the best of the amateur racers in Dragon Wine and Solodex were getting too good for the series, but they weren't quite ready to go into something like circuit where, people would probably end up getting the car bounced, so they would run off the track, as well as, you're racing with 15 other cars around you. So that would be something very new. So we decided that we needed something to train people up to that level over a 1 to 2 year period, and this was the solution to that, SuperStreet Intermediate Racing Series. So, we really have to call it intermediate because it's not like the drivers have no skill. Most of the drivers who come here have competed in motorsports before. With the introduction of the recent restrictions with the speed limits on the highway, we found that we got quite a few brand new people who just wanted to come and drive their car in a safe environment. So those are the main reasons.
All right. But what the guys who compete in the decks and so on before on the Dragon Wine, each time you all plot a course, it will be slightly different to the one before.
Correct.
And what are their views with the circuit being one design as opposed to the Dragon Wine or the decks?
Mm-hmm.
But what are their views?
Well, I think for them, they are really looking at keeping that characteristic of their sport. We don't want to introduce something like that here because they are pretty much already doing that. So if you want to learn how to read a course, then Solodex is still the best sport for you to do. And similarly with Dragon Wine, if you want to blend your drag racing skills with some cornering. So let's say that you're very good at drag racing right now, and you want to start to build a car for cornering, I would say Dragon Wine and Solodex are still your two best options to start that process. It's still going on. It's still going on at a remote. I believe the Dragon Wine slowed down a little, but the idea is still there, and I think maybe next year they will jump back on. But basically, the very newest people, we would encourage them to go more to those two. And when you get a little experience, you could come here. But the option is open for people who just want to come straight here. Now, even though this is one circuit layout, I think what makes it a challenge is that there's still a lot more to learn in that you're racing in a pack, and then the speeds are tremendously high compared to what we experience in the car park. Here you're getting up to 3rd and 4th and 5th gear. So there's much more to learn with balancing the car through the corners and how to do the braking, and that's going to take some time.
A lot harder on the vehicle too.
It is.
Your brakes heat up more, the engine heats up more, everything. The individual who driving heats up more.
That's right.
And you learn to drive without AC.
Right, and then you have to work on your differential, and you have to work on your camber settings and your other suspension settings. Cooling for the brakes, as you're saying, brakes, engine, driver, all those things are now on a 2 or 3 levels up from what they would be at the car park.
So what did you think of, when you saw the car out there, the KVTV car, what did you think of how the car handled it?
Oh God, that was damn sloppy, man, Eric, man. What kind of guy bring it? Okay, no. Actually, the KVTV car was pretty decent. It was pretty decent. Just joking, viewers, I was just joking. The KVTV car was not bad. I would say not bad. It looked nice.
You're a lot kinder than the other two who were talking about the KVTV car.
What Rishi used to call it?
Pussy magnet.
Anyway, I think it looked pretty quick in a straight line. I think we could tidy up a little bit of the suspension and the braking and the turning characteristics. So I mean, those things will come with time.
Those are flaws that you pointed out, Kerry and I pointed out.
Yeah.
Of the vehicle design.
Right.
Not too high.
And then if you want to do the circuit racing, you need to add the cage and so on because it is an older chassis. I mean, it almost didn't pass inspection since there's a little play in the steering wheel. But anybody who is coming up here to race with a car would need to have like everything in good working order. I mean, there's some things that we could allow a little leeway, but most of the things we have to stay right on. Make sure you have all your wheel nuts, make sure your suspension is good, your bushings are good, battery is tied down, no leaks of any kind, brake pedal is firm, and and no excessive brake fade is going on, good pads, that kind of thing.
Sorry, I just want to say that this shirt is from the first Bagel Decks. Where I done a similar thing like this. What we was meant to do today is I was meant to race against another driver. I was meant to race against Ansel Ali, but this belly isn't up for this car. Yeah, this belly don't want to go in the car to race. So I have to find another racer. But like when I raced against Bobby in Bagel Decks, I crushed him, which was good. This t-shirt, and I got a cup second. Feeling good.
Problem, Eric, is if I drive this car, it may not last. We have to wreck it back home.
You do have a point there.
No,
you do have a point.
We did say to drive the car without crashing it. That was the point.
No, I know about crashing it. I talk about if the engine will live.
Yeah, the engine,
I
the brakes, and the...
I accustomed shifting at 12,000 RPM and braking late before a corner. This ain't gonna do that. Now I'm saying.
So therein lies the challenge, right? At SuperStreet, we have quite a mix of cars. Look, even in the KVTV Lancer here, what engine is in there, Eric?
SR20.
SR20, right. So just like you, a lot of people are coming with engine swaps with different kinds of cars, and our regulations with
respect to Douglas car,
Is that Douglas car?
Yeah, Nissan and a Mitsubishi.
A Mitsusan.
Yeah, that is it.
Or Mitsubishi. I don't know which one. I think we'll just stick with the KVTV Lancer. That is the simplest name.
True.
Do you want to pick up some of your sponsors? I think Debbie's going to give us a full list
Zorce.
tomorrow. He's going to give us a full list tomorrow, but do you want to give us some?
Liquid Moly.
We have Total Lubricants, Maguire's, Liquid Moly. We have, at this meet we actually have Hyundai and Volkswagen coming in, and they're doing a little bit of training activity on the Hyundai Veloster Turbo this afternoon with the reps. So they are going to get their first experience of the car safely here on the track. And then at least when they talk to the customers, they'll be able to tell them what the car is like. Kristian Boodoosingh is going to do a reference lap with the car during the competition day. And once he does that, well, Kristian, you could tell us a little bit about how you're going to approach your reference lap with respect to like a street car like the Hyundai Veloster.
Well, you're gonna be flat out, just like any other lap. So just to go out and get a sighting lap and just feel the character of the car and just see how it behaves and what are the tendencies of it. And once I get a pretty good handle, I'm just going to go out and do one flying lap, because in those street cars, the pads and the fluid's not really up to racing spec, so you have one shot at it. So it's going to be one flying lap and flopping.
But I hear you're doing some instructing today as well.
Yeah, well today I'm helping the SuperStreet guys out with some coaching, because they have their driving school. And then I'm also doing some private sessions with some of the pro guys that just want to better their driving ability and get some professional help. So I'm helping them out.
I think I need professional help.
I think so.
No, you need psychiatric help first. Don't want to drive this thing out there.
Yep. So that's the program for now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kristian, I think you're brave enough to take the KVTV car out for a spin.
Later any day.
What about you, Narend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get a helmet.
We have that.
Follow me and
having that.
Narend can go out.
Yeah. We're having that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to
That sounds like a
organise that,
plan.
people. We're going to organise that. All right, bless up.
Thank you.